If you're enjoying this podcast from us here at Which, then why not become a Which member? Right now, we've got a special offer, especially for podcast listeners, meaning you can choose any of our 3 membership tiers for 50% off the usual price. Starting at just £39.50 for a full year, you can get Which magazine delivered direct to your door. For the same price, you could also choose a digital Which subscription, giving you access to all of our product reviews, the Which app, and the digital edition of Which magazine. What's more, you'll also be able to use the Ask Which service for personalised one-to-one buying advice. Or why not get a full access Which subscription for just £49.50 for a full year? Don't forget, that's 50% off the usual price. To join Which or to find out more, just head to which.co.uk/podcast offer. That's which.co.uk/podcast offer, or click the link in the description for today's podcast for 50% off a Which annual subscription.
Search engines like Google should serve as a simple tool. Instead, are we being spammed and scammed? Hello, it's James Rowe here again with a new episode of Which Shorts. This week I found a piece in the May issue of Which magazine written by Andy Loughlin on the reality of using internet search engines. Whether you're using Google, Bing or any other search engine, you've no doubt seen dubious ads and potential scams when you're simply trying to search for something online. And it seems to be getting worse. But why? Well, to answer that, we put the big players to the test. Here's Andy's piece, adapted for the podcast this week, read by Andy himself.
Whether you're looking for local restaurants or advice on a sensitive medical issue, most of us turn to search engines every single day. Online search is an essential to consumers as the roads that we drive on and is almost exclusively Google's domain. But Google isn't a confidant, a doctor or your friend. It's a global tech giant earning almost $350 billion a year, mainly from knowing what you search online. Google has a staggering up to 90% control over the UK search engine market. There are competitors, but they're all pretty small. Bing, Microsoft's search engine, has a tiny around 4% share of the market. Yahoo Search comes next with 1.35%, and its search and ads are actually provided by Microsoft's Bing. Then there is the privacy-focused DuckDuckGo, which is a far distant competitor with an under 1% market share. So online search, for better and worse, is Google. If you don't believe us, just Google it. Google got rich making a useful free service, so what's the problem? Logging onto Google is free, but the trade-off is that you're giving access to information on what you know, buy and consume. It makes money by letting advertisers bid on popular terms and questions that you search for. It's so successful because it knows more about us than almost anyone else. Almost everything you search for online, potentially even the things that you want to keep private, is traded anonymously every day on the multi-billion-dollar search market. So you're effectively paying in data to use Google, so you should expect a good service in return. However, our investigation shows that online search in 2025 is a messy, inconsistent experience filled with inaccurate and invasive advertising. This is why we put search engines to the test. We ran a series of searches and checked the percentage of advertising in the top 10 results, side and top bars. On PC and Mac, Microsoft's Bing had the highest proportion of advertising, nearly half of results on average. This was followed by Yahoo with 33%, Google with 18% and DuckDuckGo with 16%. Google displayed no advertising on a quarter of searches, such as what are the symptoms of the menopause and is my money safe if a firm is FCA regulated. But around a third of links were ads on searches including how to lose weight fast, do I need a visa for the USA, and organic dog food for sensitive stomachs. The other search engines allowed advertising on pretty much every search query that we ran. Bing actually had 5 advertising rates over 60%. On mobile devices, the experience was proportionally the same across the engines, With a smaller screen size, the search experience tends to feel more cluttered with the ads. Now, there's nothing wrong with online advertising. It gives a vital revenue stream for businesses and a new way to reach customers. Indeed, which advertises online, including on search engines. But if ads are taking high-profile search slots, they should be useful. Often, that's not the case. We ran hundreds of online searches, reviewing thousands of individual results. Here are some of the oddest results that we found. When we searched for, is my money safe if a firm is FCA regulated? Bing and DuckDuckGo somehow curiously showed us ads for physical safes. And when we typed, how can I earn more money on our savings? Google displayed an ad for a whiskey barrel investment opportunity. These are high-risk schemes that we warned about in 2024. When we searched for a rotating car seat, most engines understood that we meant for a child. But Yahoo presented an ad for car seats, non-rotating, for a Cobra classic car. Other searches brought a Temu link for cushions that spin around on a standard passenger seat. We'd advise you against trying any of these with your child. If you search can pets take human ibuprofen, it seems a little unhelpful to be pestered with ads to buy human painkillers that you still don't know are safe. On a separate search for organic dog food for sensitive stomachs, Bing flagged up a dog boarding service, which seemed a little extreme. When searching what are the symptoms of the menopause, Yahoo allowed ads for dubious home testing kits and menopause drugs with no clear warnings to consult medical advice first. On how often should I take 100 milligrams of tramadol, Yahoo and DuckDuckGo gave us ads for herbal knee patches. And when we searched, do I need a visa for the USA? All search engines serve up ads for private companies offering US visa services. You can get an electronic system for travel authorization visa for $21 per person directly from the US government, but applying on a site via Google levied a fee of $119. That's a 466% markup. These questions are genuine things that people want to know, including extremely popular searches and what's called long-tail searches, which are less popular but still consistently made. The idea is that a good search engine should be useful at both popular questions and the more esoteric requests. To their credit, Yahoo and DuckDuckGo do indicate their ads with an ad tag. Google uses the term sponsored. They're usually straightforward to spot as long as you're paying attention. Bing also uses the term sponsored but marked with a small text in the same grey colour as the description, making it easy to miss if you're scanning quickly. Thankfully, a very small percentage of people actually click these ads, probably just around 1 to 2% of all traffic. But when you consider that Google alone processes nearly 6 million searches every minute, that's a lot of people who could potentially fall victim to a dodgy link. So what needs to change? Despite its importance, search is an unregulated marketplace. Google can effectively generate daily fortunes off the back of our data with limited interference. For years, this felt like a fair deal as we got a powerful, free service in return that's so useful it has even entered the dictionary. However, our research has shown that Google's luster has faded as a portal to our online world. And the uncomfortable reality is that none of its competitors offer an obviously better alternative if you do want to search for a new solution. All this comes at a time when AI chatbots like ChatGPT are entering the market. It's possible people will flock to these new AI services as genuine ways to answer life's important questions. But there remains a healthy level of suspicion about AI due to concerns over accuracy and possible misinformation. AI will definitely take over, but not just yet. So how can you be a savvier searcher? First of all, it's worth checking you know exactly what an ad is. It isn't always clear, and you could be clicking on links without realizing they've paid to rank so highly. Look for ad or sponsored beside any link. Once you're browsing beyond the ads, consider what the information you see, who produced it and why. Just because someone has gone to the trouble of making a website doesn't mean they've passed editorial checks on what they're presenting. Always click with caution. When we go online, we often forget our natural instincts to sniff out trouble. If someone accosted you in the street and gave a sales pitch, you would no doubt rebuff them pretty quickly. So exert the same level of wariness for anything presented online. Always trust the experts. All search engines try to elevate them, but they're not consistent. Try to seek out legitimate sources of information such as the NHS. With anything that is less well known, don't take what's said solely on its own merit, especially if it's on a forum or a social media site. always try to back it up with other sources. You should be able to search the web and protect your privacy. You can adjust your browser settings to lock down data sharing or use plugins like Ghostery or Privacy Badger on Chrome. Or you can shift to a new browser such as Firefox, Brave or Safari on Mac or iOS devices. Our previous research has shown this does reduce the amount that you're tracked. And finally, consider using an ad blocker. Alongside tools for reducing how much data you share, you can block ads entirely. If you want to stick with Chrome, AdBlock, Ghostery or Privacy Badger are useful plugins to cut out the advertising you see and make browsing a cleaner experience. Just do bear in mind that some websites and services, such as online booking sites, won't work as easily with ad blockers activated.
Thanks for listening to this podcast from Which, the UK's consumer champion. You can find plenty more advice about what we discussed today in the show notes. There you'll also find a link to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, an offer exclusively available to you, our podcast listeners. Joining Which will not only give you access to all of our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the air, but you'll also be helping us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you're listening, that way you'll be notified whenever we release a new episode of Which Money, Which Shorts or another podcast that we make for you. And if you want to get in touch with us, then follow us on social media, we're at Which UK, or you can drop us an email to podcasts@which.co.uk. See you next time.
Every year, Which tests thousands of the products that you rely on every day. And we've been doing it for over 60 years.
Which reviews are 100% impartial. We don't accept freebies from manufacturers and we have no owners, shareholders or government departments to answer to. So our work is on behalf of you, the consumer.
In a world of misleading claims and fake reviews, we test everything, from everyday items to big purchases, so that you don't have to.
We then put them through tests and assessments that go beyond the accepted standard to work out how well these products work for you and what's not worth your money. And a Which membership not only gets you access to our reviews, it also funds our non-profit campaigning work, like getting scam ads banned on social media and ending broadband and mobile mid-contract price hikes. And right now, podcast listeners can become a Which member for 50% off the usual price by heading to which.co.uk/podcast offer.